Hello everyone, Vanessa here. If you don't know me, I teach on Friday mornings and I live in Beringa. This is my hypnotherapy studio. So I am just going to do about half an hour for your back, which is something that I love to do because often we work on our backs but work on it the wrong way and it ends up hurting a little bit more or getting tighter. So hopefully we can relax it out and strengthen it, and you'll feel a little bit of a difference from doing this class. It won't be so much big repetitions and stuff like that, but a little bit more explanation. So I hope you find it interesting, and do let me know. Okay, so just before we start, if you've got a roller, grab one. And also, if you have any yoga blocks or any cushions or anything that you could use, just have them close to you so that you can use them. I'm not sure if we'll use them, but we might, so just have them nearby. Excuse me. I'll get you to lie or actually kneel down. So if you have any problems with your knees, pop a cushion underneath your knees or roll your mat up. And I want you just to put your hands shoulder width apart, directly under your shoulders. So not here in front of your face, right under your shoulders. So you've got the support of your hands. Spread out your fingers for me. Often we'll put our hands like this. I want you to spread your fingers out wide and press down through the finger and thumb so that you create a little bit of lift up. Can you see if I just kind of stay there just normally, as to if I press down into my hands, I start to lengthen through my spine and lift up from behind the shoulders. So first of all I want you to do is be very aware of what's happening around my lower back, hips and pelvis. So this is a neutral position. I want you to breathe in, let your abs drop down towards the floor. Can you see mine going? And then as you breathe out, draw your pelvic floor up and your abs in. See, they're lifting. Inhale, let them drop. Exhale, draw them in. There you go. Now, keep doing that. And if your back is going more like this, and then dipping down as you let them drop, and moving up as you pull in, what's happening is your hips and pelvis are moving rather than your abs. So when we get more into the back extensions, what's happening is your back and abs are not working as they should be. And so you get more strain in your back rather than strength. Okay, so just do this a few more times. Exhale as you draw the abs in, pelvic floor draws up, sit bones draw together. Inhale as you let everything relax. And then again, exhale, draw it all in. Inhale and relax. Now this time I'll get you to go up into a cat stretch. So tuck the tailbone under, let the head drop down in between your arms and really press down into your hands so you feel a stretch across your shoulders and your lower back by tucking your tailbone under. Inhale as you drop down towards the floor with the ribs, lift the chin, lift the tailbone, and pull the shoulders backwards towards your ribs. Exhale, draw the abs in, curl. You want to tuck your tailbone under as if it's coming in toward your nose. Inhale to drop down the other way. That's it. Just a couple more. Exhale, draw in, curl. Inhale, drop down the other way. And I'm only doing this as a little warm up because we're going to go straight into back extensions. And if your back isn't warmed up and you go into back extensions, sometimes it can be a bit uncomfortable. Okay. And from there, I'll get you just to lie down. So first of all, I'm going to get you to have your hands on the floor, fingers spread out, and your forearms pressing down into the mat. Now, just get into that position, and I'm quite a good example because my body flops quite well. So I'm in quite a flopped, nothing's holding anything in kind of position. And this is usually what people will get into when they come into a back extension, especially when you've got the support of the arms. What I want you to think of is, as your hands are here, almost that you're pulling your elbows back towards your waist and hips. So can you see I'm kind of pulling in towards my ribs? The hands and the forearms will stay still, but you're engaging through the lats down the side of the ribs and through the triceps here. Then I want you to think of drawing the sit bones together and drawing up through the pelvic floor. Now, I don't know if you can see. Let me see. Yeah, you can see. So if you look around this area, as I draw my sit bones together and draw up through the pelvic floor, the front of my hips start to lengthen and my abs lift up off the floor, okay? Then I want you to think of drawing your ribs in. So if you can see across my rib area there, it's very dipped down towards the floor. I can do a back extension like that, but I will just feel it through my lower back. And what I want to work on is working up around your thoracic spine to strengthen that a little bit more. So as you exhale, think of drawing in through the ribs. And I'm not sure if you can really see that much, but from the front of my body, my ribs are lifting up away from the mat. So everything put together starts like this. Pull the arms in, draw the pelvic floor in and up, abs are in, draw the ribs up, and it creates a longer line through the back extension rather than just lifting up like this and having pain down here, okay? So you shouldn't feel any pain from a back extension. Now, what I want you to do is just hold it there, have your eye line down to the line between your fingers, and then slowly come down onto the floor. Your hands will come out a little bit wider to fit you in. And then inhale, draw up through the pelvic floor, in through the abs, lengthen the legs away, start to draw in through your ribs and lift up. Now, with the arms being a little bit wider apart, you have less support from the forearms. Keep your eye line down towards the floor so that the neck is in line with the spine, and then come back down. One more time. Draw in through the pelvic floor, sit bones together, abs drawing in, pull the elbows in toward your ribs, draw the ribs in and up away from the mat. And then I want to think of what's happening with your legs. So some people's legs will be trying to go like this. I want you to leave your legs as relaxed as you can. So we're working your back extensors rather than your legs. Your glutes will turn on, your hamstrings will turn on slightly, but you want your back to work more than the legs. And then come back down. Now, bring your arms down by the side, take a breath, give your arms a little wriggle. You should feel when you're doing these, although we're not doing many, that you should feel like you're working, okay? So, eyes to the floor. This time, you're lifting up your arms first. Draw the sit bones together, abs draw in, and then reach your hands back towards the line of your hips. Eyes are still towards the floor, shoulders are drawing back, and draw the ribs in. Lift your arms up a touch more, and then see if you can rise through the back extension, and then come back down. I'm getting cramp through my toe. If you do get cramp as you're doing these, tuck your toes under and give them a little bit of a stretch, and you can just stay like this, as long as you're not pushing down into your feet too much. Okay, so eyes to the floor. Draw the abs in and up, sit bones draw together, pelvic floor draws in. Lift the arms, draw the ribs in as you rise up, And then lift the arms a little bit more. And then lift through the back extension a little bit more. And then slowly back down. One more time. Pelvic floor draws up. Sit bones draw together. Abs draw in. Lift the arms up. Reach the ears away. Reach the shoulders away from the ears, I should say. And then inhale to lift. You'll find you'll get to a point where you can't really go any further. That's when you lift the hands up a little bit higher. And you'll find with that, you'll be able to lift a bit more. And then slowly back down. And then just rest your head. Bring your one cheek to one side. And just give your hips a roll from side to side. Okay, so if you've been to one of my classes, you know I go on about your ribs so much in back extensions. If you haven't, they're so important. So you might not be able to feel it that well to start off with, but once you get the hang of it, the ribs will make a massive difference. Okay, so take your arms up above your head and legs are out straight. Eyes towards the floor. Draw your abs in. You're going to lift up right arm and left leg. And then left arm and right leg. If you can do alternates without touching the floor, go for it. If you can't, just bring them down to the floor each time. Now, what you're trying to do is create length. Don't think of lifting up like this and just looking forward. You want to create length towards the other side of the room with your fingers and toes. And then length. So you can do it really slowly, but if you reach out with your fingers and toes, you are going to feel that right through the back of your body. Keep going, reach. Draw the abs in, reach. Draw the abs in, reach. And breathe. Each time you reach, breathe. 4 more. And 3, last 2, and 1, and relax down. Just bring your head to one side, let your arms come down by the side, and give your hips a little roll. Fabulous. Now I'm going to get you to bring your elbows to the side. They're out quite wide, and your hands are on the floor. I've just got my phone here so that I can check the time. So if you see me doing that, don't think I'm being rude. Okay, same as before. I want you to think of your shoulders drawing back and almost that you're pulling your forearms back down towards the bottom of the mat. You're going to lift up your hands and forearms and keep your elbows on the floor and then back down. And again, lift up and down. You can see by my arms that they don't lift that much. Some of you will be struggling even to get your fingers off the floor. Some of you will be able to get further than me. What you're aiming for is your forearms, wrists, and fingers to all be in a long line. Just go for 4 more of these. Breathing out as you lift up, draw the abs in. Last 2. And last 1. Brilliant. Now this time, your head could be on the floor. I'm just hovering it so you can hear me. This time you're going to lift up, elbows, forearms, squeeze the back of the shoulder blades together, and then down to the floor. And again, lift up and let down. So you're inhaling as you lift, exhaling as you go down. Your forearm wants to be straight. So can you see my elbows are a little bit higher than my hands? You want to think of the shoulder rotating backwards so that the elbow drops and the hand lifts a little bit. So you'll be working quite strongly through your shoulders at this stage. Draw the abs in, pelvic floor draws up as you lift. 2 more. And last one. And relax. Okay, now we're going to add this to a little back extension. So eyes are down, draw up through the pelvic floor, in through the abs, draw the ribs down. Imagine you're pulling your elbows in towards your side. They don't move, but imagine that sensation. Inhale to lift up, exhale to go back down. Draw the abs in, pelvic floors up, ribs draw in. Inhale to lift, exhale to come back down. Okay, now we're going to add, if you're happy with staying there, just keep doing the same thing. Otherwise, we're going to add on to it. So, inhaling, you're lifting up, this time straightening the arms, bending the elbows, and then exhaling to come back down. Inhale to lift up, straighten out, bend the elbows, and back down. So as you lift up, you're drawing in through the pelvic floor, abs and ribs. As you straighten the arms, you're trying to keep the elbows, keep the whole arm parallel to the floor. So can you see as I go forward, my arms stay parallel rather than dipping down. If you find that you're dipping down and you can't get them to stay up, it's the shoulder that is the challenge, not your back. Okay, so think more of that external rotation, pulling the shoulder back towards your ribs rather than trying to get up higher. I'd rather you stay lower with your back extension than try and get higher and not be able to get the shoulders working. Okay, one more time. Inhale as you lift, straighten out the arms, bend to come back, and exhale to come down. Brilliant. Now just come up onto your hands and knees, bring your feet together and sit back towards your ankles. Take the arms forward and just let your head drop down to the mat, wherever you're comfortable with. And as you're there, you're just resting through the spine because we've done quite a lot of back extension. Although we haven't done enormous repetitions, you should be working hard, of course, and you should feel it in your back, basically. So take a few deep breaths to try and get the back of the ribs, opening up to stretch out through the thoracic spine. Fabulous. And then I'm going to get you to come up onto your hands and knees. Hands again under your shoulders. And this time we're going to do a little bit of a back extension, but within a plank, okay? So you're going to straighten out one leg, straighten out the other leg. Same thing again, you're pressing down into the thumb and forefinger. And I want you to think about where your body is in space. So if you're a little bit like this, hips up, I want them to come down. So there's a straight line through, or diagonal line, I should say, through from your head to your shoulders, hips, knees, and toes or ankles. If you're dipping down low, we're not going there just yet. So draw the abs in, hold that plank. I want you to think about the outside of your hips drawing together. Draw the abs in and up, pelvic floor up, and breathe. Now, from there, I want your collarbones to move forward through your hands. Can you see how I'm not dropping my hips all the way down? I'm just lifting the chest. That's it. And then draw the abs in. Come back up into downward dog if you can. Otherwise, just come back into that child's pose. And then same thing again. Tug the toes under. Come up into your plank. Nice and straight through that diagonal. And then keep the diagonal, but start to draw the collarbones out towards the end of your mat. You can look up towards the ceiling if that's okay with your neck. And then exhale, draw the abs in. Come back to a downward dog. Press the soles of the feet down towards the floor for that calf stretch. And again, if you can't go there, come down onto your heels into child's pose and breathe. Just going to check the time for you. Perfect. Okay, so in between, this breath is important because you should be finding you're generating a lot of heat from these exercises that we're doing, and they're quite specific to the muscle groups. So you should feel that you need a little breather in between, yeah? Okay, one more time. Come up into your plank position. Draw the abs in, nice straight line through the body. Hold it there. Press down into the hands, pull the hips together, pelvic floor draws up. Then start to bring collarbones forward. Look up if that's good for you. And then exhale, draw the abs in. Press the heels down towards the floor and then start to let the chest drop down towards the mat. Keep pulling the hands back towards your feet. Abs in towards the spine. Now, if you can't be in this position, I want you then to come from your child's pose up to kneeling, walk your hands forward and drop your chest down towards the floor. That will just stretch out through the pecs and open up the back after those extensions. Take a breath. And then draw the abs in, slowly bring your hands underneath you. Come to kneeling again for me, and I'm going to get you to flip over onto your bum. Now, some of you might find your wrists are a little bit sore from that position. It just means you need to strengthen up wrists and hands. I'll show you a little exercise for that afterwards. But give your wrists a little wriggle around. Sit nice and tall. And all I want you to do is lean forward. So if you can get to here, fabulous. If you can go all the way down, even better. And I just want you to relax through the legs. So if you feel like your legs are holding up here, just want you to let them go, flop everything. And just sink as far down towards the ground as you can. If that's not comfortable, get a cushion and pop it under your elbows or your arms and just prop yourself up a little bit higher. And same thing again, it's just stretching out the back after you've done pretty intense workout. And then draw the abs in, come back up to sitting, and I will just quickly show you this one to help with your wrists. So lying down, again, bring your hands out wide. I'm just going to get so you can see my hands. There we go. So your hands are in front of you. I want you to lift up the palms. Now, when you lift up, often, there you go. Often you can see different positions of your hands. So some people will lift up and their palms will drop down to the floor and their fingers are almost double jointed. Other people will just kind of be a bit collapsed like this. Some people will be able to get up like this, and other people will be really high up. Okay, I want you to imagine you've got a tennis ball under the palm of your hand and you're, I suppose, scooping your fingers around that tennis ball. Elbows are high. Now, think of all the same cues I was giving you before for your back extensions. You're going to draw the abs in, pelvic floor draws up, ribs draw in. Press down into the fingers to lift the head and chest off the floor. Eyes are still down towards the floor. And nothing should change for your hands. So you don't want to collapse like this as you lift up. They should stay in that same position. And if you imagine that you're squeezing together, almost like you're squeezing an orange or something, and then come down. Now, Exhale again to lift up. My fingers and wrists are quite strong because I've basically trained them to be strong because I struggled as well from sore wrists. So my fingers kind of stay quite stable and it's not too hard for me. But I can tell you now that when I first started this, a couple would make my hands and my fingers really quite tired. So if you're thinking, oh my God, this is so hard, don't worry, keep going. They strengthen up pretty quickly. Everything else is the same. Drawing the abs in, pelvic floor, drawing shoulders down, ribs draw in, and then back down. When you feel that your fingers or palms are just so tired that they can't stay up like this anymore and they're collapsing down, that's the end of your repetitions, okay? Give your fingers a rest, give them a little wriggle round, and that's you done. But if you can practice that every day, it's surprising how quickly you can build up that strength in your wrists. Okay, so from there, just hop up, come to a quick child's pose. Take a deep breath, draw the abs in, and then come up either to kneeling or to your bum, wherever is comfortable. And that is you done. As I said, just a quick half hour to hopefully explain a little bit more about back extensions and to teach you that you don't have to go up so high. Think more about the length and think more about the parts of the back that you're wanting to work so that it doesn't always go into the lower back and cause fatigue or strain. Any questions, let me know. Other than that, have a great day. Bye.